My name is Brian Frederiksen. I'm from Polk City, but I also like to say I was from Chicago for about 7 years and then been in Des Moines since 1997. I'm an artist that works right now in relief reduction prints and monoprints primarily. I started feeling serious about making art when I was 16. It was a point of trauma. I needed an outlet, and it pretty much saved me. It's been an integral part of my entire life from that point. I went to the Art Institute of Chicago after graduating from high school and studied there and graduated. And then from that point, worked at a pottery and then moved to Des Moines in 97. And from 97 until 2022, I made artwork for other people. I used to use my skills to help them conceptualize and fabricate the pieces. And now just focusing on myself. When I had this traumatic event, it was sort of a series of them. I couldn't stop just finding a way to self-express, and making art was a way to go in deep and understand myself. High school, actually, I ended up getting a D because I think I was just way too cantankerous and thought I knew everything. But I would push out as many paintings as I possibly could all the time, and they had nothing to do with assignments, so I was sort of a bane on my teacher. I took all of that to the Art Institute. I had a dear friend that I grew up with. He was already there, Bucky Shanks. I've known him since 6th grade. We've been very close, and he's right now he's a photographer in New York. We've talked about art and figured it out together, ever since we were kids. He said, "Come stay with me," and I went in for an immediate decision option day, and you just brought your best work in a portfolio, and they would take you on a tour of the school. And then at the end of the tour, they would call you into a room. You'd go through all of your work. They would say, "Thanks for coming." And they'd go sit out in the waiting room, and then they would come out and say, "Well, yes or no." And they said, "Well, you're welcome to come. Just have to pay for it, of course." I was terrified, I was very vulnerable and just putting everything out there. I decided to move back to Iowa. I was working at a pottery studio with a mentor that I had. He was closing his business and moving, and a lot of my friends after they'd graduated had already left, and I was just a superintendent of a couple buildings. And I remember waking up in the morning with a guy right outside my window with a semi-automatic rifle just unloading it in the street. I dove under my bed and I was like, well, I think it's probably time to move back to Des Moines. Right now I work at Drake University maintenance from 7 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. and then come home and make dinner for my wife, and then come down here and make some prints for 2 or 3 hours. Try to get down here as much as I can. The studio is set up intentionally to be a small space, so everything is within reach. I've got a row of the carving tools, and then my printing inks here, and then spares over here above me. I have a jig that I use plates that will drop in here. So when I'm doing multiple plates, this is how I register, and I'll set the plate on here and register every linoleum plate on here the same, and they just drop in here, ink it up, lay this down to keep the paper clean, and then just roll it out. So it's a fast system, so I can make several prints at the same time. Most of the time I am developing a relief reduction print. It can be a single plate that is drawn out in reverse on a linoleum plate. I will start carving away the lightest areas first. It might even be several colors, and then I will carve away some more progressively to the darkest value. And so eventually the whole linoleum is carved almost completely away. So it's a bit of self-destructive technique, which I feel belongs to actually the subjects that I'm making also, so sort of ties in together really well. It's become for me like a way of painting with shapes. This print is the one that sort of changed the direction that I was going, because I've been trying to get to that point. It was just a quick, spontaneous little sketch that I tried out, and I learned from it that it can be like a painting, and that's what I love about it. This is a billboard that's out by Colfax. It has a different surface on it, but the vinyl covering had blown off, and it revealed this dilapidated billboard. I have on my phone marked when we go on trips, billboards for me to stop at, because I love the way that this man-made object is sort of, especially the dilapidated ones, where it feels like the forest is reclaiming this commercial nonsense. But the colors themselves, like once they start fading, there's a competition that happens with the landscape itself, and it sort of makes this weird harmonies and equilibrium that starts to happen, start to tell a different story, and that's what I love looking at. I tell my wife I'm going out to look at some billboards. She's like, oh, okay. The thing that motivates me the most to continue making art is, I would say, the glow that happens working on a print. A lot of times oddly enough, it creates anxiety in me, not sure which direction it's going. When I've finally decided that I'm on my last stage of that print, and it just all of a sudden is done. I don't know how to describe that glow feeling. I love the journey of making the piece itself. I'm sort of sad when it's done. I had this little intimate relationship with making it, and just that flow. When you lose track of time, you feel like it's 5 minutes, and you've been down here for 6 hours. You're just so tuned into what your idea is and what your feelings are. That's what keeps me going. I would say the one that stands out the most is a painting of the Mile-Long Bridge at Saylorville. It was a January painting. It was the first time I'd been out to do a winter scene. It was on a day when a lot of things that were weighing on me, and just grabbed my paints and just went out to find a spot that held a lot of meaning for me. I used to go down there at picnics with my dad and mom when it was still just a river. It just flowed all together. The painting just almost made itself. At the show, I'm starting sort of a chronology where there's a couple pieces in there that are influences of mine, not my photos. One's my friend, Bucky, and another one is from a friend, painter, Judy Kuhn. And then there will be another group, which is some older work, but it pertains exactly to what I'm doing right now. Then there will be the prints that I've been making for the last 2.5 years. I would say that the piece in the collection that has the most significance to me would be two, really, but the Sleep In print was sort of the aha moment that I had that led me to a new level of printmaking that I've been looking for. And then as I was working on this new technique, I made another print, The Three Selves. It's this still life. That print was, I think, 23 stages. And so it was a lot of fun to really work in some painterly solutions. In that print, there are 3 objects. There's a little sculpted head, this guy right here. And this is a sculpture that my dad made when he was in high school. Right behind it is a glass bottle that was at my mom's house for as long as I can ever remember, and she had passed away a couple years ago. And then there was a cup that I made. So all 3 things were ceramic, and I worked in ceramics for 30 years. It sort of had this collective identity that it was fun to pull out. The best way to find where I'm at is on Instagram, at Frederiksen Press. I also have a website, it's BFred Press. I do art fairs locally also. First one I do in the season is in Valley Junction. I'd love to see you at my exhibit first Friday, February 6th.
To support our workshops and help us create opportunities for you to transform through art, join our Yes Kindness campaign by donating at yeskindness.org/donate.